Okay, here's going to be the next project. I'm going to do Anubis. This is the Stargate Anubis by MRC Models. It's a pretty good kit. Give you a quick look at the kit and then tell you the plans that I have for it. Here are the instructions. Simple one-page fold-out instructions. Then on the back here it gives you a painting guide. Here is the Stargate. Pretty good detail on the gate. And here is Anubis. There's no locator pins, so it's going to be easy to position this to where you can minimize the seam lines. And he's not going to stand there, so I'll leave him up. Actually, I'll move all this over. Here is his left arm. Like I say again, really good detail on there. And here's the right arm. And his hand is slotted to hold the staff weapon. And here is the part of the head piece, and then the staff weapon. Like I say, really good detail on it. I like it. And then the last sprue, there's not many pieces to this, is Anubis's, the head piece, or the face piece of the head piece, I guess. And then there's the ears, parts that go on the side of the head piece. I'm not 100% sure what that is. That might be, let's see. Yeah, that is the, not sure. Not sure what that is. I'll have to look and see. And then here is, I got it turned around wrong. There's the size for the headpiece. Like I say, again, good detail. And then here is his loincloth, if you will. Okay, so here's what the plan is. Starting with the face of the headpiece, I'm going to take out the eyes. I'm going to drill out the eye pieces. And I'm going to either fill it with micro crystal clear or Formula 560 canopy glue. And then I may tint them blue because I'm going to either put a white LED or a blue LED in the headpiece so his eyes will glow blue. And then I'm going to have the Stargate up behind him like this. Give me just a second, I'm going to reposition this camera. Okay, now what I intend on doing is having the Stargate mounted vertical like this. It's made to be the base, and Anubis stands on the base like this, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have it mounted up. Like I say, I'm going to make a pedestal. Either have the steps or a ramp, probably be steps going up to it. It'll cover the two bottom chevrons, so you'll be able to go, have it mounted up to where it looks like it's going into the Stargate. All this is going to be cut out, and I've got a really nice picture that I'm going to put in here of the Stargate. I intend on cutting out the chevrons. The triangle piece I will cut out and put nail acrylic in it. And then you can see where the slots are here on each side. I'm going to drill those out, and I'm going to attempt, I've got some really small files back there, so what I intend on doing is drilling several holes, and then I'm going to attempt to open all those up. If not, I'm going to experiment on one, and if I can't get it the way I want it, then that will be the one of them that will be hidden underneath the pedestal. If not, I'll just, like I say, just drill several holes. But and then after I get the nail acrylic put in there, I will come behind here and paint the nail acrylic orange, and make sure that if I can't drill it or can't open them up, then the holes that will be drilled, I'll make sure that the orange gets in the holes. And then I'm going to come behind here and put a red LED. You can see the indentation there where each chevron is. I will put a red LED in behind that, so this will glow a really nice reddish orange. And then I will put plastic on the back side here to block all the light in. So there'll be 7 of the chevrons lit up, and the bottom 2 will be covered up by the base. And what I've picked up, I plan on putting Anubis on a kind of a square rectangle base or whatever. No, it's not a square rectangle, but it's a rectangle or square base. And I have picked up a couple of Anubis dogs. Kind of sounds like a rap group, doesn't it? And I'm going to put them on each corner. They're either going to be facing straight ahead or at an angle. Haven't determined yet. But I was looking for something cheaper. These are not as cheap as I wanted them to be. These are around $10 a piece, a little less than $10 a piece. So a little more than what I really wanted to pay, but I really liked the ones, or like these. I was thinking about the ones with where the dog is laying down and its paws are out in front and everything, kind of like a Sphinx, if you will. The way the legs are out. But I've decided that these, to go with these. I think these will look better. But he'll be on a desert style base. And I'm probably going to have some sort of grass, desert grass, growing in and around the Stargate base itself. So, all right, hang on just a second. I'm going to raise the camera just a tad. There we go. So that's the plan for this model. Should be a fun build, and so we're just going to go ahead and get started on it. If you have any questions, like I say, feel free to ask. Well, I got a little work done on Anubis. I worked on the Stargate. I got all the chevrons opened up. I was going to open up the little slits beside the main light, and I tried it on one of the lower ones down here using my little pin vise with a little tiny drill bit on it. But the plastic is just too thick. I can drill the holes in there, but I got a really small precision file here that would go in between the slots, but there's just too much plastic to get in there to try to hog out, and I'm just not going to do it. So the main chevrons will light up. I'll show you real quick. I got a red LED in the top. What I'm going to do is, if you remember what I did on the Fifth Element taxi, I'm going to mix some clear orange in with epoxy, and then I want to put some tape on this side and fill it in from the back, and all of these will be orange, and then I'll paint the full chevron in on the front, so it'll look like a full deal. But then the hole in the LED will light up. And like I said, I've got a red LED in there right now, so the red with the orange will give me a really nice reddish orange glow. And you see what it looks like there. Just imagine all of those lit up, and the camera's kind of blowing it out. It's a really nice deep red. The camera always screws up LED lights. The base, I was going to do something a little different with the base. I kind of wanted to not do a desert scene, so to speak, but to do more like a indoors Egyptian type setting. It would still have a lot of browns and stuff, the sandstone and all that. And I had these columns, and I was trying to incorporate these columns in on either side of the Stargate. Well, this is a 7-inch column, and you can see what the issue is at the moment. and I was going to make a block to make it higher, but then to me that would look kind of goofy to have just a square block down here, and I'm not going to go hog wild and build up a big fancy column and all that. I guess I could cut a section of PVC like I made the columns on the Fifth Element taxi build. I still have some of that. I could cut that and make that, but I'm just not going to. I might do it. I don't know. We have to look and see. But as of right now, I've decided not to. And I've got two columns that I was going with. This was the one I was looking at first, and you can see, well, you can't see, but it's, take the camera off just for a minute. You can see how much bigger it is than the display. Yeah, that's entirely too high. So bear with me while I put the camera back. So that's why I was looking at these. That's a 13-inch column. Yeah, that's a 13-inch column, and then the only thing I have in between is a 7-inch. And I was looking for a 10-inch column, a 9 or 10-inch column, and I just can't find them. I was looking on eBay. I was looking on Amazon. I looked in Walmart. I looked in the cake section in Hobby Lobby, and if they exist, then they have fallen into a black hole, because they do not exist in my world. And so I may try the round post with the 7-inch column on it. I'll try that and see what it looks like. But as of right now, I'm going to do something different. Like I say, got all those opened up, and then Anubis is going to, come on now, you were standing there earlier. I had him standing up early, just stood there perfectly fine. Of course, he's going to be a butthead. Ta-da! So I've got, with him, I've got him assembled as far as you see it. I've got all the parts together. Like I've got his staff all cleaned up. I've got to do some painting on that, and I got his arms together. And yeah, I don't know what they kind of thinking on this kit. To me, he's got his hand up. Where's his hand? It's this one. So when you put his hand on, he's got his hand up, like he's hailing a taxi. Yo, two-wheel taxi, bring your horse over here. But then when you go to put the headpiece on, the way let me get it sit in there just right, get the wire tucked in. Well, then you see that he's kind of like doing the nod your head thing, and with the other part of the headpiece on, then he's looking even more down. So I don't know if he's throwing his hand up and he's giving up on it, and he's bowing his head because he's depressed or in shame. But what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to move it back just a little bit. I'm going to open up this hole here a little bit where I can shift this back just a little, and then when I put the top of the head piece on, I can actually move it back just a tad, because all this is going to, under here, I'm going to have to put use a epoxy sculpt to fill in all that, because with the LED in there, there's going to be a major light leak all around that. So I'm going to glue it in place. Where's my LED? Right here. I'm probably going to use a 3mm LED. This is a 5mm, but I'm going to drill a hole here and just pull the LED in there, and the LED is just going to stick straight out, just like that. And then when I put the headpiece on, the LED won't be aimed at the eyes, but it'll still give it a nice glow. I'm gonna, and so when I get the LED glued into place, I'm gonna see how much clearance I've got, and then I'm gonna come in underneath after I will glue this in place, and then I will come in with a little snake of epoxy sculpt and go in and kind of sculpt it in to make it look like it's part of the headdress. But I don't want him looking down like that. You know, even though with the headdress on, you know, he's taller than anyone else. But I'm just going to try to bring it back a little bit. But that's where I'm at the moment. I have been doing a little bit of work, but not a lot of work. Things are going kind of slow here around the shop, and it's not that I've started too many projects, because I work some on this and some on the Star Destroyer, and then you've seen the Colonial Movers video. I've been gathering up more parts that I've got my resin and stuff in for it. But I work on this, and I work on the Star Destroyer, and I work on other things, you know, just a little bit on each one, and whichever one I get, seems like I get the most work done is the one that I do the updates on. Excuse me. Excuse me. The Star Destroyer, there's nothing to really show on that, because all I'm doing is putting in braces and making light boxes to put LEDs in to light up all the little sections that I need to do. So there's not really anything to show there. I haven't laid any paint down or run any LEDs or anything like that. So that is all for this update. Like I say, I'm just making a little bit of progress on Anubis. Still got the Anubis dogs in the doghouse. So that's it. Take care, and I will catch you in the next update. Well, as you can see, I got quite a bit done to the base. Nothing is set in stone. No pun intended. What I did was just took some. This is foam board, and I just took, and it's still kind of tacky, and run my pinstripe tape along there to create a grid, and then I shot textured paint on there. And I done the pedestal, the steps and the pedestal the same way. And what that pedestal is made out of is a bunch of these. You know, the steps are one of these blocks, and I done the pedestal the same way. Sanded it down, put putty on it, and sanded it again, and then shot it with the texture paint, just like I did on the columns here. The columns. Get that mess off screen. I didn't realize it was on screen. But the columns are 2 1/4 inch sections of PVC. I want to say it's 1 1/4 inch PVC diameter, but it's 2 1/4 inches high, and that brought the Stargate up where I wanted it to be. Let's see if I can get it to move. It's hooked on that mat behind it. There we go. Pull it forward a little bit, and you can see how high it is. Now what I intend on doing is I'm going to dress this up. I'm going to put a piece across the top of it here. One, to dress it up, of course, make it look a little better, because these have holes in it, and I don't want to just cap those off. And two, it will keep all this braced up, because I intend on putting a little bit of glue on each side of the Stargate to keep it in there. Then I'm going to run the wires down and out through the base. But I'm going to put the back on it, and it will be glued. Have a little glue up here at the top, and a little glue on each side, and a little bit of glue down at the bottom here. So it's not going to go anywhere. And I want to put that brace across there to kind of brace everything in and hold it into position now. And like I say, these are not the final colors on it. I'm going to go with earth tones, different shades of like tan and reddish brown and stuff. I'm gonna make, what I intend on doing is making these squares look like sandstone. And reason I done the grid, because I wanted to make it look kind of sort of like grout lines. Not that they would be grout. And I'm sure they did. When they laid down the sandstone, I'm sure they had some kind of grout work in there. So what I was doing was just, like I say, just creating the illusion, if you will, of grout lines. I'm going to go back in and touch them up. I'm going to probably do some different shading, like a really dark brown or a reddish brown, and then I'm gonna airbrush it on and then come back in and highlight the blocks, and then give a final blending coat, if you will, over everything. The steps will be the same way, the pedestal and all, as well as these. Plan on doing the columns in 2 different colors. The pedestal here will be a different, or not pedestal, but the round column will be a little different than the Egyptian column here, if you will. And of course, still gonna have the lights in there. And I was going to have the bad planning on my part. I've got the graphic that goes in to create the water effect in the Stargate. I was going to have that in there, and it's still in the box over here next on the other side of me. So on Anubis's headpiece here, had a little place there I'm fixing. I'm not going to worry about this seam here because that's going to be down his back. And I was able to, forgive my fingers. That's red putty from doing the steps. But I was able to raise his head up probably 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little more. And then I went all underneath of it with epoxy sculpt and blended all that in. And one thing about epoxy sculpt is, once you get it in and looking like you want it, you can take your carving tools and stuff and carve out all the excess that you don't want in there. And then once you're finished, you can take a paintbrush, dip it in a little bit of water, and just brush over it, and it smooths everything out. So there's no jagged edges and everything. And once it gets primed and everything, you're not going to see up under it anyway. But it served the purpose as far as blocking the light. There was a lot of light leak coming from the blue LED that's inside. You see the wires here. I had the eyes cut out in the last video. I forgot to show it. But I'll show you real quick what his eyes look like. Just a second. Like I say, I've got a blue LED in there. That's what his eyes look like, and there won't be a hot spot because I'm going to go back in with probably Formula 560 canopy glue and just fill those in. I didn't want to put anything in there until I painted it. Like I said, it's just a little blue 3mm LED shoved up through. I drilled a hole. Now getting that in from this end, I sent it up through and then up through the hole there and glued it in place. Now that was a trick. But so the headpiece is done, and I don't want those to touch. Don't want it to blow my LED. Now that once I get this little spot here finished, I will cover the eyes. Probably just stick a piece of paper in each eye and then prime it. I'll probably just prime it black and then start doing dry brushing and stuff on it. So one thing about the base, I don't like the edge all the way around. Like I say, this is foam board, and I don't like the edge all the way around it, because you got paper and then foam and then paper, and unless you had something fall over outside, unless you put putty on there, which I tried and it kind of ate into my foam a little bit. It's hard to get rid of the the look of that. And like I say, I don't care much for it, and I'm gonna use thinner stock than this. But I've got some strips that I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna dress up that all the way around. Like I said, it'll be a lot thinner than what this is. It'll be almost half as thin as what half as thick as what this is. So get all that that covered up and make it look nice, dress it up a bit. But let's see, and then we got Anubis. Got his arms attached. That's about all I've done to him, and I've started trying to blend in the arms. There was on this part here, there was a mighty big step between where the arm was and where it glued. I got it lined up in the front, but then it looked like crap in the back. I tried lining it in the back, then it looked like crap in the front. So it was a give and take type deal. And same here, there was a considerable step between his shoulder and his the ball of his arm there. So a little bit of putty work to do on the inside of the sides of his stomach there. But he's coming along. He originally had rectangle pegs there, if you will. You can see where they were. Because the Stargate was a base and it had 2 slots cut in it for his feet to stand in. And so I went ahead and shaved those off so I can hot glue him down and have it all flat instead of trying to cut slots into the base and do that. But that's all I've done on him so far. And like I say, I was able to get his head up a bit. Let me take the wires back inside. There we go. I was able to get his head. I didn't, not the headpiece. I was going to try to bring the headpiece back, have it to where it's more upright like this, but that created a major issue underneath that I just really didn't want to tackle. But I was able to get his head, get his snout there, if you will, to come up more. So he's coming along. So that's going to be it for this update, I think. So, but anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching, and we will catch you in the next update. And Anubis is finished. I know it was a big jump between the last update and the final, but I got to working on it and decided not to take a break and do an update. I figured I'd just go ahead and finish it up. You can see there's quite a bit of difference between the base and the base now and the way it was in the last update. I tried to explain it in the other video. I wanted everything in sand colors, sandstone and stuff, and a lot of you misunderstood what I was saying. You thought that the base as it was in the last update was the way it was going to be, and I apologize for that. I guess I didn't make it clear enough, but this is what I was going for. I wanted it to look like sandstone floor, and I did you've seen how I done the grout work, and but I come back in with 3 different shades of browns on the floor. I used I painted everything after you've seen it in the video. I come back and I painted everything with spice tan, and then the darker areas where the grout lines, grid lines, whatever it is, where those are, that is actually raw sienna. And I've done something that I don't normally do. I thinned this down enough to shoot it through my Iowata airbrush. Normally when I'm spraying craft paint, I use, I've got an old Pache starter airbrush, or I use my Pache H, because the pigment in this is, in the craft paints are a little too thick, and it normally plugs up my airbrush. But the way I thin this paint down, I thinned it and then strained it, and so there wasn't anything to plug up my airbrush. So I thinned it down probably 70-30, 70% thinner and 30% paint, or maybe 65-35, something like that, because I had a lot more thinner than I had in the paint, or had paint. And what I used was I've got an airbrush cleaner that I make up. It's not my recipe at all, but it uses Glass Plus and alcohol, and that's what I used a lot of times to thin my paint down. I thin my Tamiya paint down with it. I thin my Vallejo paint down with it. I thin the craft paint with it. It just makes everything work better. But anyway, like I say, and the lighter spots that you see inside here, there's different shades of brown in here, but the lighter spots is actually a color called trail tan, and the bottles are actually right back there on that rack. But it come out, it come out pretty good. I think I really like the way it come out. Did have a little tough decision with the dogs. I kind of thought about putting them right up here on the front edge, one here and then one over here. But I decided to put them back there because I did have a hiccup when I was putting that column in. I made a boo-boo, had a boo-boo anyway. The Stargate, I've got a little bit of glue on each side, tacking it to the columns, and then a little bit in the bottom. But I didn't put any glue on the top of it here because it's not high enough to reach that top beam. But the steps, you've seen how I made the steps out of the blocks of wood. And I'll turn it around and I'll kind of explain what I did on my boo-boo. I'll point out the boo-boo first. This post, this column here, yep, hang on, got a little hiccup in my turntable, don't want to do very well. When I put the pedestal in, I put this in first because I had to run my wires for the Stargate and everything. And this was before I put the glue in the Stargate. While fiddle farting around with this, I bumped the Stargate, and so the Stargate was off to this side, and I didn't realize that. And when I put the post in, or the column in, I put the column in where it was touching the side of the Stargate. Well, it was over too far, so when I went to put this one in, I'm like, well, why was it not lining up? And then it hit me that I had bumped the Stargate that direction, and so I had to. This was super glued down, so I had to break it loose, which boogered up my floor, and I had to come back in with my Spice Tan and fill in because it left a big white spot there because I had to move it over. But once I popped that loose, I put the Stargate back in the position that it should have been, and then I put that in there. And I'm going to have to get me a different turntable because this thing's got I guess a flat spot on the rollers or whatever. And it likes to hang up. Okay, and I made a little sign here, Stargate Anubis, and what this is actually the thumbnail from my video. I just shrank it down and cut it out, or printed it out and cut it out and glued it on. And this side is just a tad low, but for the person that pointed out to me in my last video that I didn't have the top chevron in the right place because I had it over here, I just stuck the damn Stargate in there to do the video, and some clown come out of the woodwork telling me, he's like, oh, you before you glue this or glue that and do anything else or this, that, and the other, you got to make sure that you got chevron at the top. And why in the world do you have to treat people like they're stupid? It's just beyond me, but for that particular person, this top chevron is in the right place. I've got the Stargate in the right orientation. And so I will go ahead and turn the lights on. I'll show you. So there we go. I'm going to kill these. You can see that Anubis's eyes light up, and then I've got 7 chevrons that are lit up, and I got the on-off switcher right here on the front, and it's just a little rocker switch. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit because my camera don't want to focus right. Okay, let's see if I can. Yeah, that makes the colors look a little better. The flesh tones on Anubis, yeah, I'm not I don't do well with flesh tones. I like doing figures, but if they don't have flesh showing or face showing, I do pretty good. My camera telling me that my battery is dying, but anyway, got the eyes lit up and the chevrons are all on. I used like 7 different shades of metallics to get all the bronze work done. Done it in black first and everything. Same with the staff. And I'm going to rush this because, like I say, my phone is dying. So anyway, the everything here is used. I use either Vallejo or craft paints to do all this. Staff is bronzed. The leggings are bronzed. The shoulder armor and all the gauntlets on his arms are bronzed. The belt is bronzed. His little weapon here is bronzed. So it's, like I say, I think it turned out okay. So that's it on this build. I'm going to do something a little different on the next build. I got a different project in mind. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this build series.